in the hopes that maybe it'll find its way to someone who is experiencing something similar to what I have experienced. And for anyone who has or is in that experience or has experienced that, you know that, any help or guidance would really be valuable and helpful. So, if nobody watches this video, so be it. But if anyone can watch it and possibly get some kind of information that can help them along their way, I believe that I've learned some valuable lessons. And first of all, let me just say that, we all have different experiences. We all have different perceptions. My reality is not the same as yours. That's the beauty of life, being human, okay? I'm not going to try and really dig too deep. I'm not going to try and, answer some profound question or I don't claim to hold a key that will seed inside of your mind and unlock some door, okay? I'm not going to tell you what you need to know to go a level higher, okay? I'm not going to say the same words and try and pass along codes as if that magic is anything other than low level stuff. All right, I'm not going to do that. All right, I'm no better than anyone else. I don't claim to be. And maybe I'll tell a little bit of my story, but I promise mine's not like most people, for good or for bad. But one thing about my life and the experiences is I've been given a type of wisdom, a type of knowledge that a lot of it I keep within me and I don't even talk about. But it's something it was a gift, from somewhere else. All right. It wasn't something that my little mind just, believed, was reality. And maybe I guessed right. It's not that. So I've been on this part of the awakening, I guess you call it the awakening spiritual ascension journey for almost 6 years now. And for a long time, I was into what, you'll hear these speakers talk about loops and patterns, and you'll hear them talk about how they are here to help and they're offering guidance, yet the guidance is only just out of reach. The truth is always out of reach, right? Your blessing, the help that you need, the answer to your prayer, the bit of information that will put the whole puzzle together for you is right around the corner, right? Does that sound familiar? It's always right around the corner. It's coming towards you, is what many people say. And as I observe this so-called guidance all over social media, I've 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 learned, and I've been shown what my part in it could be, and unfortunately my part in it was falling in those loops, in those cycles and patterns, and believing that my blessing, my answered prayer, my miracle was right around the corner, believing that this guidance was in my best good. And any day I can look through, and I'm not here to talk against anyone. I'm not here to, like I said, I'm no better than the next person at all, so I'm not here to, put anyone down at all. Like, never would I do that. And most of the people, at least the ones on my feed, the ones that I, just take the time to listen to, they're very, very gifted. There's many very gifted people, and they are tapped into the source. They're really, tapped in and connected with the divine energy, the spirit, God, whatever you want to call that, so it's not like a condemnation or a judgment against any of them, but it's more of a sort of warning to people that are on this journey, that even someone with well intentions that does have the gift, that is even eagerly wanting to help others, can add to the cycle that you're in, can actually unwillingly even or unknowingly to contribute to you being stuck in that pattern, right? And it's done, like I said, I don't think it is done for nefarious reasons. Sometimes yes, like I know that happens, for sure. We'll get to that later down the road, but for now, the majority of people that you see on your feed that are giving guidance and advice and saying that they're, receiving, information from the Akashic field or source or whatever they choose to call it. The majority of them are good people. They're beautiful souls. I can sense that about them. I can read, I could see it, but they are, many of them, all of them live their own personal life experience, and they've known certain comforts. They've had certain wins, certain losses, certain tragedies, certain heartbreaks, good things, bad things, tragedies. And their experience has created the reality in their mind, in their life, right? And it's different. Everybody's is different. So their perception. So let's look at it like this. If you think of the consciousness of the universe, God, if you think of God, that divine source, the highest consciousness, the highest frequency, all right? For one thing, none of us can really explain it. We can't even begin to understand even aspects of it, okay? So there are those who are given this knowledge, but not many. But so if you take that highest frequency, that God, the love, whatever you want to call it, that we can't understand or describe, we don't have words to, we can't even perceive it, and then you filter it through a person, even a well-intentioned person that does have a gift of discernment or of prophecy, of serious spiritual gifts and the tools and the knowledge and all that, and the good intentions, but you're filtering something that is unperceivable to people through that filter of that person, so therefore it's tainted by their experience, okay? So, of course, many of the aspects, many of the things that, this journey brings about, this ascension or this awakening, many of the things that happen to us, the events, are very similar and are sometimes exactly the same. And what that can do is it can feed the new initiate some kind of false understanding of what is happening to them, because they see these guides that have been through similar experiences giving them, guidance, and they believe based on what that person's experience has shown them of reality, and that is a trap. That's the snare. Okay? I'm not saying that no one should watch these guidance videos or tarot and things like that. Those things are great tools that can give us information. And they do. And there are very gifted people, like I said, that can really help in a way. But we cannot depend on anyone outside of ourselves for answers to our journey, to our particular circumstance, to our life, to our problems, to what we need, to what's around the corner, to what's coming into us. No one out there knows that. You do, actually, but no one. We should look to no one, and really we should be careful to believe in and have confidence in those who tell us that they know, because they are either confused or they are lying, okay? And like I said, the intentions could be great, but the effects could be detrimental, and they could be devastating. They were to me in my life. And so that's really why I want to just kind of release this first video on this page, is to kind of let people know that the first thing, even if we have to go back to step one, because people could be more advanced than me, of course, and know more than I do, and if someone can prove me wrong, hey, I'm open for it, I've learned throughout this process that, things change. But I believe it to be true that when you hear people say, look inside for the answers, that's really the only guidance that can be given, honestly, and be very wary of those who claim to know what's coming to you, or how, archetypes and things like that, like the tarot and other divination, can actually be a useful tool and could be true, and oftentimes are. But you've got to be strong enough in your development to be able to see the difference and discern the difference, okay? And what happens is we are early in our development, in our journey. We discover that we've been given or born with or somehow passed along. We've got this gift. We're connected to something, the creative power of the universe here, We're connected in that, and when that activates within us, it is, it's the most intense and world-changing thing that we experience. Reality flips upside down as we know it sometimes. So if we're led astray, even though it may be unwillingly, we fall into these traps and these loops. And then our mind, that has been given access to the creative power of the universe, God, our mind then creates this horror movie, you know, that we're experiencing right now in this outer world. Like, the world that we're living in right now, in my opinion, was created by us not looking within ourselves for healing and truth and love and compassion and the answers, right? We tend to, we don't know the answers, and we're ashamed, I guess, and we tend to look towards anyone else, and especially someone who has, you know, the gift, and maybe more developed than we are. So we're tapped into the creative power of the universe, right? And we perceive this for the first time, and then we are literally it's like a light switch that we are now manifesting, right? For good or bad, right? So I just warn people, take heed to the fact that the answers are within you. No one knows what's coming towards you. You do. I mean, no one here with us does, you know. But you do. You're as close as you can get to that knowledge, you know, as far as I can see. And, you know, breath work, meditation, you know, it's useful tools, especially in the early stages. Be open to sources of knowledge that you may have thought were absurd. I'm not saying go out and believe every conspiracy theory or this, you know. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that if there are spiritual tools and technologies that are used by all of the major religions that have survived thousands of years, and there are, pay attention to them. Don't say, you know, that's wrong. Look at, you know, be open to it. Don't think that someone else doesn't deserve your compassion and love. Don't think that you don't deserve your compassion and love. The value is within, you know. I'm going to keep this video like this, and I'll get into more things, and I'll make other videos. But just know that, like, I reached a point to where I could not just be silent about this, because I see what it's doing to people. It's changing people. It's bringing negative energy into people, into their life, and it's creating this world that we're living in that is unsustainable, that is not going to continue to be allowed to go. Imagine if you had the power to shut it all down, and you're seeing what's going on here, you know. So this first video is just, know that what you seek is within you, okay? Don't believe any guidance that doesn't tell you that, look, you know, you can actually sit down with yourself and pull out the magic that's within. You're tapped in. There's nothing around the corner. It's here. You get it? Like, once you awaken to the fact that you are now connected to this thing, you're not waiting on anything, right? It's here. There's nothing around the corner. There's nothing you need to do, right? You're not chosen for some specific reason, okay? None of us are better than the next person, all right? You know, gratitude and look within. Don't believe when people think or claim to know what's coming to you. And when you're scrolling, if you see something that says you urgently need to see this by this day or something, you just delete that freaking channel. You know what I mean? Like that, it's a business now. Like you're hooked, you're in it, and now you are the product. Your attention contains the creative force of the universe, which is so valuable and potent, right? So anything that gets your attention, can direct that energy, and you don't even know it's happening, right? There are levels as we go that you'll see, that you'll be shown. It's not up to me to show you, if you're already in the, of course, one of the first things that happen is they call them angel numbers, the patterns, all the number sequences and things like that. Of course, that is one of the first things that happens. We all know these things. All right. If you've moved past that and into like the sacred geometry patterns and the language that is literally all around us at all times, that some people know and some people don't. And then you move past that, you get into the higher color frequencies that is also being used, and some people know and some people don't. And all these things can be embedded with information and even used in ways that you'll learn as you go. And there's levels beyond, I'm not going to dig into it too deep right now. 22. I'm going to say this. Be careful what you allow into your mind, what you listen to. Listen to people's enunciations. Listen to the patterns in which they speak to you. Break it down and say, what's different about what this person is saying to me? Should there be, within the span of 2 minutes, should there be 10 sentences that have 4 consecutive words that start with a P or a H or a S, right? Is that natural? Is that normal? Can we say that that's just an anomaly? Or could the most beautiful dressed up words that are shooting love or that are convincing you are containing love and support, could they be tools used against us? Listen with your ears. Look with your eyes. If you're watching this, you have the eyes to see. You have the ears to hear. Don't use my ears. Don't use my eyes. Don't use the next person's. If you need guidance and wisdom, this force, this creative force, God, this source is going to give you the information in some kind of modality, right? So it doesn't have to be a channel that you watch religiously. You could be driving down the street. You could be sitting with nothing, You could be talking to a dog. You can hear people around you. This source, this higher force is going to give you the information that you need. So be selective at where you decide to bring it in. Listen, watch. Patterns, sounds, colors, shapes. may be scary when you realize what I'm describing. It may make you feel unsafe in a way, or like you're being watched or something like that. It's crazy to accept this. It's intense, but just know that you have already been, you are in the club. You are protected. You can call it protection. You are part of this source of God. Okay? All right? You are already in the club. You don't need to change. What needs to happen is going to happen, regardless of whether you want it to or not. So look within, man. If you feel stuck, it's because you're listening to other people too much. I'm sorry. If you feel like, why haven't I shifted and everybody else saying, why don't I have a mansion and a Porsche, and all these creators seem to have, you are the mansion and the Porsche, my friend. You are the most valuable thing in reality. Without your existence, the world would literally cease to exist. We all that are joined here together, we wake up every day only because you are here. You don't have to seek a treasure that's within you already. It's yours. When you were born, you were given domain. You become value. You are value. Okay? And if you've had experiences like mine, if life's been hard and you've wanted to give up so many times, and something's kept you here, and you just can't take it anymore, and you can't go through another day of pain and lack, realize one thing. Every experience that you've ever went through, especially the bad ones, okay, they had to occur in order for you to reach your destiny. You have a purpose here. If not, you wouldn't be here. You have a purpose. And so therefore, in order to reach that purpose later down the line, every event must happen that you have experienced. Okay? Every tragedy, every death, every breakup, every job loss must have happened, or you would not reach your destiny. It's logical. We can accept it. It's like when I was shown this, I was like, how stupid am I? Like, what? But prove it wrong if you can. It's a stepping stone to destiny. The only way out of that is if you don't believe that you have a destiny or purpose, but you wouldn't be watching this if you didn't. But the next step, there's the next branch in the tree of turning this, of alchemizing this knowledge and creating value out of it, and digging in and getting the gift out of it, is understanding that now that every event, even the death of a parent or child, or the loss of everything, those tragedy, those events that put trauma in us, that changes our life and changes who we are, and that takes the soul out of us for a while. If you've been through that, as I have, I'm sorry. But know this, that experience had to happen because you have a destiny, you have a purpose, and it had to happen, or else you wouldn't reach that. And now that you know that it had to happen, be grateful for it. For what better step up the ladder to heaven, to your destiny? For what better step along the path to your purpose? Okay? Logic tells us all these events must happen. But our spiritual self says that we must be thankful for it. We're grateful for it. We don't understand it. And it takes a long time. You don't have to do it today. But the moment that you can see it that way and see that the gratitude for these things is what changes reality. Because what it does is that is a lesson that can literally take anxiety and depression and fear and worry and shame and take it out of our lives if we apply it and we believe it and we trust it. It's hard not to believe because it's straight logical, but if we accept that and we practice that within and we put it inside of our constitution, inside of us, then that lesson itself changes everything. It is more valuable than every piece of gold that's ever existed on this planet. There's not a dollar amount that is more valuable than the lesson that's inside of that wisdom, that gift. And the top level, the highest part of that wisdom is you've accepted that to reach your destiny, all those events must happen. That's easy enough. That's logical. You've then done the work inside to forgive and to be grateful for it, and to not blame yourself or hate yourself or hate anyone else that did these things, or you don't live in shame and fear and anxiety, and you're not drugged down every day by the trauma of what's happened, because thank the universe for it, right? Thank God it happened. It's a hard concept to but once you see this and you see that it's the most valuable lesson any man could ever know, you now can accept and believe that you are the most valuable. No, I'm sorry. You are now the richest person on this planet. You have learned a lesson that others can't even understand. You've been given a gift that is more valuable than all of the gold on the planet combined. You are the richest person in existence. Follow the chain of logic, accept these things, sit with it, see if it feels good. It's going to, because it's true. And you know what's going to happen next. You are now accepting that you are the richest person in existence, that you are the most valuable person in existence. And you know what happens? This reality will literally adjust, and the things of value, the resources, the money, the people, all that which you desire is going to be running towards you. It's going to, I'm not going to say it's around the corner. It's going to, you won't even seek it. It'll fly and hit you in the face. So I've got to stop this video. I've been rambling forever. I'm going to make some more. If anybody watches this, I hope you get some kind of help from it. The last bit there is true. All right? Don't look outside yourself for guidance. Don't believe people who say they know what's coming to you and the answer to these questions. They have gifts, and many of them mean well, but you have the gift too. You've been given access at this point, and no one knows, you have the ability now to dig in and get those